All new at 10, it's been more than a year since historic wildfires devastated the Santiam Canyon, destroying hundreds of thousands of acres in national forests and leveling communities.
Throughout the cleanup process, crew members have recovered some pretty incredible things from underneath the rubble to return to families. As Fox 12's Camilla Ortiz shows us, sometimes it's the most unassuming objects that hold the most value.
For folks who lost everything in the fires, it's hard to assign that value to things because a home or cabin is much more than the logs and stone that make it up. So you might raise an eyebrow when I tell you a local family's history, memories, and heart became tied to a rock. Tucked away among the pines in the Willamette National Forest east of Detroit, a few dozen cabins were built, some as long ago as the 1930s.
100 and some feet tall. Fir trees, cedar trees, spruce trees.
Breitenbush number 9 has been in the Seaton family for decades.
No electricity, no running water other than in the river.
Simple and quiet.
No sirens, no talking, no additional noise from the outer areas, you know, like cars and trucks and whatnot.
Exactly what Clayton Seaton and his wife Olita wanted to get away with their 5 kids.
It was very peaceful, very peaceful.
A stonemason by trade, Clayton made sure the cabin was a reflection of the family and the beautiful scenery around it. Everybody pitching in to completely rebuild it from the ground up in the early 2000s, using stones from the river and downed trees on the property.
We milled out those gigantic trees into the wood to build the cabin.
A uniquely shaped river rock.
There's thousands of tons of rock up there, and that's the only heartstone that I ever saw.
Placed in a walking path at first, the family choosing to move it after Olita started to develop dementia.
We decided to put it in the fireplace, and so I told my wife, I'll put the stone up there because that's my heart. You can see it up there in the fireplace, and you can remember that I love you because of it.
70+ years of marriage, the heart of the hearth.
I projected it out from the face of the stone so it was more visible.
Olita passed away in September, almost exactly a year after the Lion's Head fire swept through Breitenbush, taking the cabin with it.
It just rips your heart out, you know, because we put so much into that.
The family's heart in every part of that cabin, but a single piece pulsed the strongest, and Shelley was determined to find it for her dad, going back twice to where the cabin once stood.
It was all rubble. It was all rubble, and we were moving rubble, and there was just nothing.
The Seaton story touching ODOT crews doing cleanup in the area who jumped in on the effort to find it.
It just became just this huge motivation for me that no, we're not done until we're done.
A small group meeting at the site on a rainy November day to dig through debris, including contractor Stephen Gardner, who had an idea of where to look since he was the one who had to tip the chimney after the fire.
We used an excavator at first, and then we got out some picks.
After more than an hour of searching,
he's digging, and he's down about a foot and a half. All of a sudden, he throws the pickaxe to the ground, and he reaches over, and he picks something up.
I hear him gasp.
I turned around, and I said, this must be it, and that was when all the tears started flying.
No chips, no cracks, just a newfound sheen from the heat of the fire.
I burst into tears.
She wasn't the only one.
I'm glad to be part of it.
And around Thanksgiving,
we got you something special.
Clayton got an early Christmas surprise.
Oh, you did find it, huh? I'll be squits.
Clayton telling me it was the fact that so many people, strangers, wanted to help.
How many people? Over a rock?
That's what touched his heart the most.
I will look at that rock, and I will think of those, 5 people who were involved, and I'll be thankful to them for the rest of my life.
When the time comes, Clayton says he wants that heartstone incorporated into his and Olita's final resting place, and the family will have another heartstone to pass down and tell this story. In the middle of the search efforts, when things were looking grim, a crew member found this smaller heartstone that she gave to the family in case they didn't find the original. In studio, Camilla Ortiz, Fox 12 Oregon.